All right, everybody. Good morning and welcome back. We've got more quarterbacks to grind through today, and we are getting to the less interesting crop. We are getting to the guys who I think will go on day 3, outside the top 100, outside the first 3 rounds, but that doesn't mean they're not interesting, and that doesn't mean there isn't something to find here that's good. So let's sift our way through. I've got 8 quarterbacks that I want to take a look at here that I think are going to go in this range or not go at all. Some of them are probably going to be undrafted. But that doesn't mean they're all going to be bad. So let's take a look at the options here, starting with Michael Pratt of Tulane. Probably, as of right now, the most valuable of the quarterbacks that are going to go on day 3. I don't think he's going to be the best, but I think he will go the highest. 6'2.5", 217 pounds, 30 3/4 arms, 9 1/4 hands. Measurements are workable. The arms are pretty short, but that's not exactly a death knell for me. The combine was okay, although he really messed up the 3-cone. That's brutal. That's like a nose tackle 3-cone almost. So, measurements are pretty good. Testing numbers are okay. Couple big boards have him in the 3rd, couple have him in the 4th. The database has him in the early 4th, which is kind of what I expect to happen. Small downtick in volume stats last year for the Tulane team, from 3,000 to 2,400 yards, 5 fewer touchdowns, also had significantly fewer rushing yards, but that's mostly because he played less. As a player, I feel like he was still the same guy, more or less, increased his completion percentage. So looking into Pratt as a player, he's a leader. He was a team captain each of the last 3 seasons for Tulane. So he's got leadership qualities. His pocket footwork is clean. He buys a lot of time in the pocket for him to be able to make plays. He can make plays with his legs as well. He's not somebody who just scrambles to buy time. He scrambles for yards, and he can go get first downs with his legs. He's a really good layerer of throws, or a featherer of throws, some people call it, where you can take something off the throw if you need to hit it. So he's got that part on lockdown, and he processes information post-snap really well. So there are some things about him that are really likable, but while he does have a good arm, I don't think it's a great arm. I don't think he can make all the throws. He can make most of the throws, I'll put it that way. And there are some accuracy issues on throws that aren't just the simple ones right in front of him, like the slant passes right in front of him, sure, but there are some accuracy problems. He drops his eyes when he gets pressured, which you don't like to see. You do like to see a guy who's able to roll out of the pocket and make a throw down the field. But when he gets pressured, he tends to drop his eyes and stop thinking about making a throw. He starts thinking about, can I make something happen with my legs? He does hold on to the ball a little too long as well. I think that when he gets to the NFL, he's going to have to accelerate his mental clock, or else things are going to go badly. So, kind of hard to dissect and pull apart Michael Pratt here, but there's clearly not enough here to elevate him into, I would say, the top 100. Because to me, if you're going to take a small school guy like this and elevate him into the top 100, he needs to have a monster arm. And Michael Pratt does not have a monster arm. It's a good arm. It's a workable arm. But it's not a great arm. So I'm not enamored with this. This is not a Jay Cutler type situation. That was the small school example that I remember from when I was young. Jay Cutler was a small school quarterback who did not produce very good results, but he elevated himself into that first round because he had a cannon arm. That's what got him through. And Pratt doesn't have anything like that. So I don't think that there's some great undervaluing here with Michael Pratt, but he is a good prospect all around. Some things can get ironed out here. He can get better at having his eye level stay up when he's getting pressured. So a lot of the stuff is fixable, and I'd put him in the bottom of the 3rd or the top of the 4th. Somewhere in that range would be okay. I would not hate taking him just outside the top 100 at all, if I needed a quarterback, which I don't know if we do. That's Michael Pratt. The other guy I want to look at in this video is Jordan Travis of Florida State, the Seminoles. 24 years old when the season starts. 6'1", 200 pounds, so smaller quarterback for sure. 31 3/8 inch arms, 9 inch hands. A couple big boards have him in the 3rd, couple have him in the 4th. ESPN has him in the 6th. They're really down on him for some reason. And the aggregate currently has him in the late 4th, early 5th, which seems reasonable to me at this point. I will say that if he gets a positive injury update before the draft, he could elevate himself close to the top 100 or maybe even into the top 100, because I think he was headed there before he got hurt. But the last 2 years been very solid, very productive. Completes about 64% of his passes. Would have had well over 3,000 yards in each of his last 2 seasons if he didn't get hurt. Not a lot of turnovers. 7 picks over the last 2 years combined. 44 touchdowns. Runs for yards as well. Ran for 400 in 2022. Wouldn't have been as productive in 2023, but would have run for a decent number of yards. Remember, it's college football. They take away your sack yards in college football, so something like 176 means a lot more in college than it does up here. So he doesn't have an amazing arm or anything. Like, a lot of people compare Jordan Travis to Russell Wilson because the comparison makes a lot of sense in a lot of areas. He doesn't have a Russell Wilson arm, but he does have a better arm than you would expect a 6'1" guy to have. He can get the ball down the field. He can fit the ball into tight windows, but it's not a great arm. He's got a lot of mobility and escapability to extend plays and get yards. It is the Russell Wilson thing. It's the Fran Tarkenton thing. Fran Tarkenton thing. It's the kind of stuff that you come to expect from these smaller quarterbacks that just, they're hard to bring down. They're hard to get to. They're hard to hit. Hard to square up on. Hard to bring down. Can also use his legs to get yards, like we just talked about. 600 rushing yards over the last 2 years. Would have been more if he didn't get hurt. His off-platform throws are clean and accurate. When he needs to make a playoff script, he can do it. Pocket presence is good. He has a good awareness for when he's about to get pressured, about to get hit, and he has the elusiveness to do something about it. Now, I'm worried about the injury impacting his long-term ability on the field. I'm worried about the injury potentially derailing his mobility. Like, what would have happened to Russell Wilson if he had completely destroyed his leg in his rookie season or the last year of his college career? Would he have been that elusive? Would he have been that slippery? Probably not. And would Russell Wilson have been an appealing quarterback prospect without the elusiveness? Not so much. I'm not in love with the way he handles the cerebral part of the game, pre-snap or post-snap. Doesn't seem like he goes through his reads all that well. I think that he has some issues identifying exotic pressure pre-snap. So I'd like to see some improvement in that area, but that's obviously very fixable. And while some quarterbacks have gotten around it, he is small. He's a smaller guy, and that may impact him negatively. So he's fun. He's a lot of fun. I liked him a lot. I was thinking about even elevating him into like the early 3rd, late 2nd area before he got hurt. I was impressed. It seemed like every game he was just bringing it. Every game he just brings it to the table. But the injury is a concern. The lack of over-the-top arm strength is going to distill the Russell Wilson comparison a little bit, because Wilson had a big arm, and he also had big hands, which Jordan Travis does not have, for whatever that's worth. And I still like him, but I just wish, I mean, obviously this goes for pretty much anyone. I wish the injury didn't happen. So I would have put a 3rd round grade on him, but I'm going to knock him down to the 4th because of the injury. If he makes a full recovery, I think he has a chance to be a starter in this league, but I'm worried. All right, so that's it for these quarterbacks. Let me know what you think of Jordan Travis and Michael Pratt. I think they are the friskiest of the day 3 quarterbacks in terms of likelihood of becoming an NFL starter. So let me know what you think down below. I will see you guys later. Go Hawks. And yeah, now we're getting down into the, you're having to sift through a little bit, but there's something good down here, I think.